In this online tutorial, I will be showing you how to print out and prepare your half-scale women's wear blocks. There is also a set of full-scale blocks you can download on the workflow page. During this online course, we will mainly be working with the half-scale blocks. These blocks are exactly half the size of a normal set of blocks for a size 10 mannequin. Firstly, we need to print out the PDF. Set your printer to print at 100%. Do not press the scale to page button. There are 5 pages in total in the PDF blocks. Firstly, we are going to start with the front and back skirt blocks, so just set the other ones aside for a moment. In order to make the blocks a little bit stronger, I would advise you to stick them onto some card. I'm just using some card here. This is off the front of my layout pad. So if you stick them down, I just use a Pritt stick for this. And then we can cut them out and they'll just be a little bit stronger and a bit easier to work with. So stick glue all over the back of the paper. Then press it down onto the card. Smooth it out so there's no lumps and bumps or bubbles on there. And then cut it out. Take care when you're cutting out to have a nice smooth line. This is really why you need a long bladed pair of scissors. So cut around all of the black outlines. And now I'm going to just get my pattern master or my grader ruler, and I'm going to line up the number 1 alongside the centre front, and I'm going to mark on the grain line. I'll talk to you more about grain lines later. So now we need to notch the pattern. So notch the hip line, the top of the dart, the other hip line, and really we should notch that bottom line as well. I'll do that at a later point. And then use your mushroom or your drill to make the hole at the bottom of your dart, because we'll be needing that info later on. So now it's time to annotate the skirt block. So what I'm going to write on there first of all is CB, which means centre back. I'm going to write waist. I'm going to write dart, waist. I'm going to write SS, which means side seam, hip along the hip line, and I'm going to write hem along the hem. So obviously once you've done the back, you need to do the front as well, except instead of writing CB, you're going to write CF. Now we're going to measure the block. So we're going to start off by measuring the centre front, and that comes out at 25 cms. So I'm just going to note that down onto the block. I think it's quite good to actually put your measurements straight onto your block. And so that's 25 there. Okay, now I'm going to measure my hip line. So I'm placing my tape measure on top of the hip line, measuring that, and I'm getting 11.7 cm. So I'm going to just write that down. Now I'm going to measure the waist. There's 2 parts to the waist because the waist is bisected by the dart. We don't measure the dart. To measure a curve, because the waist is slightly curved, we put our tape measure on its side, measure, and we get 4.3 cms. So just write that down. Don't measure the dart. Put the tape measure on its side again because it's again slightly curved, and we get another 4.3. So just write that down. And now I'm going to measure the hem. That's also slightly on the curve there. So that first measurement is 7.2. And the second measurement from the notch is 5.5. So I'm just going to write that down as well. So obviously you need to do the same to the back. Once we've finished measuring the front, we then measure the back. And here you can see a full set of women's wear blocks, fully annotated and with all of the measurements on them. We're ready to start.